Imagine waking up one morning, checking your bank account, and seeing a deposit that changes your entire month. Maybe it means groceries are covered. Maybe it means the rent is paid on time. Maybe it means you can finally breathe again. For millions of Americans, February is not just another month on the calendar. It's the month when critical Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, and other federal payments start landing in accounts across the country. And if you or someone in your family depends on those benefits, this is about your life, your routine, and your wallet. February often brings more than just regular checks. It can include adjustments, back payments, timing shifts, or special deposits that many people don't even realize they're eligible for. And that's where confusion starts. Some people check their accounts early and panic. Others hear rumors online and think they're getting more than they actually will. The truth is, knowing exactly when your money is arriving and why can make the difference between stress and stability. This month, payment schedules are especially important. Certain groups are getting funds earlier than usual, while others may notice deposits on different dates than they expected. That's why understanding the February payment calendar is critical, because when you know what's coming and when it's arriving, you can plan, budget, and avoid unnecessary worry. So in this video, we're breaking down exactly what's happening with Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and other federal payments in February, who gets paid, how much could arrive, and the key dates you absolutely cannot miss. The main Social Security payment schedule. Let's start with the backbone of these payments. Regular Social Security retirement checks. If you receive standard Social Security benefits, your February payment date depends on one key detail, your birthday. The Social Security Administration uses a staggered schedule to send out payments throughout the month. This system prevents delays and helps ensure millions of deposits go out smoothly. So instead of everyone getting paid on the same day, payments are spread across 3 Wednesdays. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th of any month, your February payment typically arrives on the 2nd Wednesday of February. If your birthday is between the 11th and the 20th, your payment usually comes on the 3rd Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the end of the month, your money typically shows up on the 4th Wednesday. But there's one major exception. If you started receiving benefits before May of 1997, you're in a different group. Those beneficiaries usually receive their payment at the very beginning of the month, often around the 3rd. This staggered system may seem complicated, but once you know your category, you can mark your calendar with confidence. And that means no more guessing, no more checking your account every few hours, and no more unnecessary stress. SSI payments and the early month deposits. Now let's talk about Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. This is the program that provides monthly payments to low-income seniors and people with disabilities who qualify based on financial need. And for SSI recipients, February payments follow a slightly different pattern. SSI payments are usually sent out on the first day of the month. That means most recipients receive their February SSI payment right at the start of February. For many households, this deposit is the one that keeps the lights on, the fridge full, and the bills under control. But here's where timing can get interesting. If the first day of the month falls on a weekend or federal holiday, the payment is usually sent earlier, sometimes even in the previous month. That's why some recipients occasionally see 2 deposits close together and think they're getting a bonus payment, when in reality, it's just the schedule shifting. Understanding this timing is crucial, because if you mistake an early payment for an extra one, you could end up spending money that was meant to last the entire next month. And that's the kind of mistake that can create serious financial stress. So if you receive SSI, always check the official payment calendar and plan your budget accordingly. SSDI. When disability benefits arrive. Now, let's move to Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI. If you receive disability benefits, your February payment schedule usually follows the same pattern as retirement Social Security checks. That means your payment date is tied directly to your birthday, unless you started receiving benefits before May 1997. In that case, you're likely paid at the beginning of the month, just like certain retirement beneficiaries. For many Americans living on SSDI, these payments are not just helpful, they are essential. They cover medications, therapy, housing, utilities, and daily living expenses. And even a small delay can create major stress. That's why it's important to know your exact payment date and keep an eye on your account around that time. Most deposits arrive early in the morning, but sometimes it can take a few extra hours depending on your bank or credit union. If your payment doesn't show up right away, don't panic. The Social Security Administration typically recommends waiting at least 3 business days before reporting a missing payment. In most cases, the money arrives without any issues. VA, RRB, and other federal payments. February isn't just about Social Security and SSI. Millions of Americans also receive federal benefits from programs like Veterans Affairs and the Railroad Retirement Board. VA disability and pension payments are usually sent at the beginning of each month, covering the previous month's benefits. That means February deposits often represent payments for January. For veterans and their families, these funds can be the difference between financial strain and stability. Railroad retirement beneficiaries follow a similar pattern. Many of these payments are issued at the start of the month, and recipients typically receive them around the same time as Social Security beneficiaries who are paid early. If you receive one of these benefits, it's important to track your payment history and know your usual deposit pattern. Any unexpected changes should be checked quickly, just to ensure everything is moving smoothly. Possible adjustments, back pay, and corrections. Now here's where things get interesting. February is sometimes the month when adjustments or back payments start showing up. And for some households, that can mean extra money they weren't expecting. These adjustments can happen for several reasons. Maybe your benefit amount was recalculated, maybe there was a delay in processing your claim, or maybe a cost of living adjustment was applied later than expected. When this happens, the Social Security Administration may issue a back payment to make up the difference. That deposit could arrive alongside your regular monthly check or as a separate payment altogether. But here's the important part. Not everyone will receive an extra payment. These adjustments only apply to certain cases. So if you see headlines or social media posts claiming that everyone is getting a bonus check, take a step back and verify the facts. Why some payments look different. This month, some recipients may notice that their February payment amount looks slightly different, and that can be confusing, especially if you rely on a fixed income. In many cases, the difference comes from deductions. Medicare premiums, tax withholdings, or changes in income can all affect the final amount that lands in your account. For example, if your Medicare premium increased, you might see a slightly smaller Social Security payment. On the other hand, if your benefits were adjusted upward, you might notice a small increase. The key is to check your Social Security statement or benefits notice. These documents explain exactly how your payment is calculated, so you're not left guessing. What to do if your money is late? There's nothing more stressful than expecting a deposit and not seeing it. But before you panic, there are a few steps you should take. First, check your payment schedule. Make sure you're looking at the correct date based on your birthday or benefit type. Second, contact your bank or credit union. Sometimes deposits are delayed on the bank's end, not the government's. If the payment still hasn't arrived after 3 business days, that's when you should contact the Social Security Administration or the agency that provides your benefits. Most delays are temporary and get resolved quickly, but staying calm and following the proper steps can save you time and stress. How to make the most of your February payment. Once your money arrives, the next step is making it last. February can be a tricky month with rising utility bills, medical costs, and everyday expenses. Start by covering your essentials first: housing, food, medications, and utilities. Then look at what's left for transportation, savings, or emergencies. Even setting aside a small amount can make a big difference later. If you qualify for additional assistance programs, February is also a good time to check your eligibility. Programs like SNAP, energy assistance, and local senior benefits can help stretch your budget even further. February could be a turning point for many households. For some families, February isn't just another payment cycle. It can feel like a reset button after a difficult start to the year. Holiday bills, winter heating costs, medical expenses, and rising grocery prices often pile up in January. By the time February arrives, many households are stretched thin and watching every dollar closely. That's why these February deposits carry so much emotional weight. When that payment hits your account, it isn't just money, it's relief. It's the ability to buy groceries without fear. It's the chance to pay the electric bill before the shutoff notice arrives. It's knowing your family has one more month of stability. But here's the important part. February can also be the month when people make financial mistakes. After weeks of stress, it's tempting to spend a little extra once the money arrives. Maybe you want to treat yourself, catch up on something you've been putting off, or help a family member who needs support. And while those choices come from the heart, they can create problems later in the month if the budget gets thrown off. That's why it's important to think of February not just as a relief check, but as a strategic moment. A moment to stabilize your finances, reorganize your budget, and prepare for the months ahead. Because the habits you set this month could determine how stable your finances feel by spring. Hidden benefits. Many people overlook millions of Americans are eligible for additional support programs, but many never apply. Some people assume they don't qualify. Others simply don't know the programs exist, and that means thousands of dollars in potential assistance go unclaimed every year. If you receive Social Security, SSDI, or SSI, you may also qualify for programs that reduce your monthly expenses. These can include help with food, utilities, prescription drugs, property taxes, and even transportation. For example, energy assistance programs can help cover heating bills during the winter months. Prescription assistance programs can lower the cost of medications. And local senior or disability programs may offer free or discounted services that make everyday life easier. The reason this matters in February is simple. This is the time of year when winter expenses peak and every dollar counts. If you can reduce one major monthly bill, it can free up money for groceries, medical care, or emergency savings. The key is to check your eligibility. Many programs have income limits that are higher than people expect. So even if you've been denied in the past, it may be worth checking again. How cost of living adjustments affect your payments. One of the biggest factors influencing Social Security and disability payments each year is the cost of living adjustment, often called the COLA. This adjustment is designed to help benefits keep up with inflation and rising prices. When a COLA increase takes effect, it usually shows up in the first payments of the new year. That means February payments may still reflect those adjusted amounts, depending on when your deposit schedule falls. For many recipients, this increase is welcome news. Even a small boost can help cover higher grocery costs, rent increases, or rising utility bills. But it's important to remember that not every increase feels the same once deductions are applied. For example, if Medicare premiums go up, part of your COLA increase may be offset by those higher deductions. That can make it seem like your benefit didn't rise as much as expected. That's why reviewing your benefits notice is so important. It shows the exact amount of your increase, your deductions, and your final payment. Here's the bottom line. February is a critical month for millions of Americans who rely on Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and other federal benefits. These payments aren't just numbers on a statement. They represent stability, security, and peace of mind for you and your family. Knowing when your money is arriving gives you control. It helps you plan, avoid stress, and make smarter financial decisions. And in times when every dollar matters, that knowledge can be incredibly powerful. So stay alert, keep track of your payment dates, and make sure you're getting every dollar you're entitled to. Because your benefits are not just government payments, they're part of your financial future. And if you want to stay ahead of new changes, payment updates, and important financial news, make sure you stay tuned for the next update. The right information at the right time can make all the difference for your wallet and your peace of mind.